Your retrieval is working. Your chunks are clean, but the answers are still vague, wrong, or completely made up. 9 times out of 10, the problem is the prompt. The system prompt is the most powerful lever you have in a RAG system. In this episode, we go through every technique you need to write prompts that produce accurate, traceable, well-formatted answers. The prompt controls everything the language model does with the retrieved context. It sets the role of the assistant, the constraints on what it can and cannot say, the format of the output, how to handle cases where the context does not contain an answer, whether to cite sources, and the tone of the response. Most developers write a 2-line prompt and wonder why the model behaves unpredictably. A production RAG prompt needs to handle all 6 of these things explicitly. This is a strong base system prompt. Notice the 4 elements. First, we define the role, a precise document assistant. Second, we give a hard constraint. Only use the provided context, never outside knowledge. Third, we define the fallback behavior explicitly. If the answer is not there, say so with that exact phrase. Fourth, we set tone expectations, concise and factual, no speculation. Every word in a system prompt is an instruction. Vague instructions produce vague behavior. For production systems, you almost always want citations. When a user gets an answer, they need to know where it came from so they can verify it. We add one instruction to the prompt. After each key claim, cite the source using a specific format. The format we defined here includes the file name and page number, which our Chroma metadata carries automatically from episode 3. The model will follow this instruction reliably as long as the metadata is present in the context string. For citations to work, the model needs to see the source information inside the context string itself. We update our format docs function to prepend a label to each chunk showing the file name and page number. Now, when the model reads the context, it can see exactly where each piece of information came from, and it can include that reference in the answer. This is the bridge between metadata stored in Chroma and citations appearing in the final response. Few-shot examples are one of the most effective ways to control output format. Instead of describing how you want the answer formatted, you show the model 2 or 3 actual examples before the real question. The first example shows a complete answer with a citation. The second example shows the correct fallback response when information is not available. The model picks up the pattern immediately and applies it consistently to new questions. Here is the complete prompt structure with few-shot examples included. The system instructions come first, then the examples, then the retrieved context, and finally, the actual question. This order matters. The model reads the prompt from top to bottom and the examples set its expectations before it sees the real context. Putting the context after the examples also keeps the most important information closest to where the model generates its answer. Prompting the model to say it does not know is good, but there is a more reliable approach. Before passing anything to the language model, check the retrieval scores first. If Chroma returns no documents, or if the closest match has a distance above 0.8, we skip the language model entirely and return a clean not found message directly in code. This prevents the model from ever seeing low-quality context and making up an answer from it. Here is the production checklist for RAG prompts. Define the role at the top. State constraints directly, not as suggestions. Write the exact fallback phrase you want, because the model will echo it. Include a citation format with a concrete example. Add 2 or 3 few-shot examples for consistent output formatting. And always put the context as close to the question as possible, because language models pay more attention to text at the end of a long prompt than the beginning. You now have a complete prompt engineering toolkit for RAG, a strong system prompt, citation instructions, metadata-injected context, few-shot examples, and a code-level fallback for low-quality retrieval. In the next episode, we move to hybrid search, combining keyword search with semantic search to dramatically improve what gets retrieved in the first place. If this series is helping you, please subscribe. It helps more than you know. See you in the next one.